Hi, guys. Welcome to another episode of Perla Meets the World. Welcome to my home in Thailand. For those who just joined, this podcast is going to be about how to deal with solitude when you're either a digital nomad or backpacker. But before that, I want to give you an update on what's going on in my life for those who already know me for a long time. So I assume that you want to know. Otherwise, you can skip it. I have been away from the camera because I didn't feel very comfortable in my own skin. I injured myself 7 months ago. I got plantar fasciitis, and that took me out of any cardio, any activity for the past 6 months. If you don't know about plantar fasciitis, it's basically heel pain and it's very, very sharp in the morning. And sometimes it doesn't go away during the day. So you cannot even walk. This was a shock. And my mental health went all the way down. I was depressed for 2 months, not knowing what to do. I didn't even know how long it was going to take for my heel to get back to normal. So I was like, what am I doing here, really? What else can I do with my life? It was tough. And that's one of the things that I'm going to talk about today on the podcast, how to deal with situations where you feel powerless, where you do actually need some friendships and you don't have them around. How do you cope with that? In my case, it was to do the scuba instructor course. A lot of people were asking me, oh my God, are you an instructor now? Are you working as an instructor? Well, no. I just needed to get out of my head. That's what has been happening. Anyway, that was the introduction. What are we going to talk about today? First of all, if you just joined, I am Perla. I left my country in 2015 and then I've been traveling alone since 2019, and now I am currently in Thailand. Before that, I was living in Australia, and before that, in 2015, I moved from my country to Scotland. So I've been away from home for nearly 9 years now, and I can say that I have a little bit of experience, moving houses, moving homes, sleeping in different beds every 4 days, saying goodbye to a lot of people, and managing all that with digital nomad job. I hope my podcast inspires you to go beyond your comfort zone and just, push your limits to do things that scare you and just feel the fear and do it anyway. And overall, to live a life that you are proud of. Are we ready for the podcast? Welcome to Perla Meets the World, a podcast where the travel world. Jesus. Is this recording? Today, we're going to be delving into a profoundly human aspect of the nomadic journey. And mind you, even if you're not a nomad now, or even if you want to be a nomad but not a digital nomad, I feel that what we're going to be talking about today can be applied to a lot of situations, even if you're staying somewhere and most of the friends that you make when you're there are backpackers. So you're the local and you have to say goodbye. How to deal with that as well. We never talk about the other side, but can you imagine if you're the one staying all the time and everyone else is leaving, which is my case. Anyway, when you're traveling, you're facing a lot of circumstances and events that you have never faced before. You have left your comfort zone, you have left your country, you have left your currency, your culture, your food, your friends, your family, your language, and you're embarking on a journey going from one place to another, so you have no idea what's going to happen. You have no idea what kind of problems you're going to be facing because you have not done it before. I feel that sense of home, that sense of safety is one of the elements that each one of us when traveling have to find on our own to anchor ourselves. One of the benefits of leaving everything behind, because it feels like I'm not selling this properly. One of the benefits of leaving everything behind and just going to the unknown is that you will become independent and you will learn how to rely on yourself. Chances are that if shit happens, and it will happen, you won't have people that you know around you to help you. You will have yourself. So a lot of the times you will feel frustrated. A lot of the times you will feel that you cannot do this anymore, that it's too much, that you don't have the tools to face or to fix whatever situation you're in. But you will push through, you will learn, and that will make you stronger. If it happens again, you will know how to manage that situation. For example, if your tire explodes in the middle of nowhere, what do you do? If you've never changed it before, the first time is gonna look messy. And hopefully you have like an extra tire in the back of your trunk to actually change it. But it's going to look messy. And if it happens when you don't even have signal, which was my case, and you have no access to Google or YouTube to tell you how to do step by step, it's going to be even more challenging. And on top of that, if it's in the middle of nowhere and it's getting dark and it's very cold. Yes, these things have happened to me and I have survived. So if I can, you guys can as well. When we leave our comfort zone, be it a new job, a new relationship, buying that car, learning how to drive, when we do something that we have never done before and we have no expectations because we don't know what we don't know, we're going to feel fear. Our brain is going to trick us into not doing it. Basically, our brain wants us to be safe. And safe equals things that you know, the familiar. The experience of traveling is about the raw emotional reality of building connections that are often temporary, of saying goodbye to places and people that have become your home. And you have to navigate also the gap between your life on the road and the lives of your loved ones back home. You're taking completely different paths and nothing will ever be the same after you leave home. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm saying that you are going to change in ways that the relationship that you had before with your parents and your friends inevitably is going to shift as well. You were one person when you were home. You're going to become a different person while traveling, and you're going to be a different person when you go back home again, even if it's just to visit. And you will see for yourself how different the dynamic is going to be. Maybe your friends have changed as well. They are doing other things. They chose a different path for their lives. Maybe they are escalating at work. They have kids, which is very challenging and it changes you as well. Or maybe they have not changed at all. But you have. You might want to talk about other things that you care about now that you never thought you would. For example, in my case, I would love to talk about diving now. And 3 years ago, I didn't even dive. You know what I mean? I didn't know that I wanted to do that and that I would enjoy it that much. So now, most of my friends, apart from my best friend, I made her get the open water. So now she understands when I send her memes about diving. But I don't expect all my network of friends to start diving or my family because that's an impossible. And the same applies to any other hobby that you might encounter on your travels that you loved, or any new career that you want to pursue, or just living on the road. You're going to be adapting to such an uncertain life that when you come back and everything is still the same, you will feel weird. Where's the challenge? So it's not a bad thing, but you need to keep that in mind when you start traveling. Things are going to change. In my case, I've been away from home for so long. I shaped my entire body, mind, and everything to every single place that I've been, fully embracing their culture, their language, their ways of life. And so now I'm just a mix of everything and nothing at the same time. But talking to so many travelers, these are the two sides of the story. When you leave, you miss what you left behind and you actually cherish what you had and you are more grateful for your life back home. And on the other hand, you discover that actually back home you were so limited, you were not at your full potential. You get to know other people, and these also can change you. Another example, I believe that every single country is racist. We are all racist in a way that we want to protect what we feel is our own identity and our own culture that our ancestors and all the previous generations build, so that now we have a sense of who we are as a collective. I feel that every single country and every single nation has that to a degree. Some can be more extreme to the point of maybe starting wars, and some can be just more light, like the Japanese. They're still racist towards everybody that is not Japanese, but they won't treat you bad for it. They will just treat you like you're an idiot because you don't even speak Japanese, you're not even trying. So when you start traveling and when you experience racism yourself, or that kind of like conservatism around a country's identity, then you see things completely different, You start appreciating your immigrants more. You start appreciating how hard it is for someone to start over in a different country with a different language, away from their family, friends, and everything that makes them feel good and safe, because you are experiencing it yourself. And the same applies to jobs. When I went to Australia, I went from working in a digital marketing agency as one of the seniors to becoming a housekeeper, the night shift manager of a hostel, and a waiter. Well, food runner. When you change from a qualified job to have a non-qualified job, and you see how people start treating you just because of the job that you have and not because of who you are, then it makes you think, have I treated someone else like shit just because they were actually cleaning my office? After working as a housekeeper, after working as a waiter, now every single time that I stay at a hotel or hostel, I always leave a note to the cleaner saying, hey, thank you so much for cleaning my room today, for taking my shit out. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And I don't know if they read it or not, but it would have been so nice if someone actually said to me, hey, thanks so much for cleaning all the blood that I left in the toilet because I don't know how to use a tampon. You have no idea how many stories I have. That's for another podcast. How to deal with the relationships that you're inevitably going to build and say goodbye to, and how to deal with yourself, pretty much. Loneliness. When you travel, you will meet a lot of people that you have never met before and that you thought you would never meet before. Even more so, you're going to connect with them to a degree that you thought was not possible. Usually back home, we're more reserved, we are more private and more distant. So we take our time to get to know someone and let them into our lives. Guess what? When you travel, you have no time. Sometimes you don't even have more than 2 days. So in my case, no time for less. I'm staying 4 days in this city and then I move to the next one, but I need connections now. So you open up right now, you tell me all your life story, and then I'll decide whether I want you to be in my tribe or not. I have these 5 questions that I always ask to get to know someone in no time. The first question is, what is happiness to you? The second question is, give me a fear that you have. The third, give me a dream that you have. The fourth, something that you want to teach. And the fifth question, something that you want to learn. These 5 questions along my travels have helped me get to know better a person that you don't have any background. You don't know if they're psychopaths or not. And they can even lie about the answers, but it's very unlikely. Basically, that's something that has helped me connect faster on the go. So I highly recommend you guys to find your own strategy to see how you can reach out to people that you've never talked before. A lot of the times, just by going on this, if you stay in hostels, these guys normally run a lot of events, a lot of tours, most of them free, that you just pay whatever you think it was worth. Only in one day, you'll feel that you have connected with a bunch of them more than maybe a lot of people back home. That's how fast and how intense the relationships that you're going to build on the road are going to become. And that's why it's so hard to let go. You just connect fully to someone you have known for 3 hours and you feel that you've known them your entire life. And that's the beauty of it. You have to say goodbye in the end. But these relationships, these friendships will stay in your life, most of them, if you keep in touch with, which is another struggle that I might talk about on another episode. Loneliness feels completely different when you're traveling, because when you're surrounded by people, you are fully surrounded. When you're alone, you're fully alone. There's no middle ground. You go from sharing a tour with someone for 8 hours or for 3 days traveling together because it's cheaper to share expenses, to saying goodbye and then move on your own for however long. And that contrast It's part of being a nomad. Go from 0 to 100. Feeling all the emotions, going crazy, like from super happy, super excited to super sad. Everything that you will experience will be new. So it feels like dating someone for the first time every single day for weeks and months and years, if you can cope with this intensity. You know what I mean? It's always endorphins, endorphins, endorphins. It's the same as when you date someone new. You have both the excitement and the stress of the whole situation, which is something that the mind loves. It's like a drug. It's like drama, because you're so excited about the new stuff, but also you're so stressed about what's coming next. And also, what if the next thing is not good? What if I leave this hostel and I move to the next one? It's shit. What if I don't meet anyone anymore? What if I'm going to be like alone for a week? I don't know. You have a lot of questions and also a lot of excitement about the new place. What if I don't like the new town and I'm just so happy and comfy in this town? I should stay. But wait, the point of traveling and backpacking is just to keep going, keep meeting new friends, keep discovering new places. There's a whole world awaiting. Even if you feel like you just want to stop because you found the best place ever, you have no idea if the next one is even better. And you will never know if you don't keep going. But that comes with a massive sadness, comes with stress, comes with anxiety, and there's a few ways that I particularly have managed my own loneliness. The first one, I created a podcast in 2019. No, actually, I'm lying. It was 2020 after COVID. I felt so extremely lonely that I started a podcast interviewing people that meant the world to me while I was traveling. I just wanted to remember them and to remember our conversation forever. And then I thought, well, I might as well post it and see if someone else is interested in our conversations and if they can relate. Why not? I don't lose anything by sharing. But at the beginning, it was just for me to remember them, to not forget where I was and the person that I was at that time, the worries that I had at that time, my dreams at that time. What was happening in my life? What kind of job was I performing? You know what I mean? That's the first thing that I did to cope with loneliness, to talk. The second thing, keeping a journal. I journal every single day, and I already bought my journal for 2025, just here, ready, waiting to be used, and just express every single thing that I would feel. I think one of the most important things that help human emotions to pass is to validate them. And if you don't have anyone to validate how you feel, you will have to validate it yourself. To me, either using social media and talk on stories and talk to people about everything that happened to me as if it was like a broadcast, or either just journaling helps a lot, because I'm just pouring down, leaving everything out of how I feel. It's no longer inside of me. And then I can read it, and then I can have some compassion and some kindness towards myself, which will lead you to be more self-reliant, self-confident, and independent. At the start of the podcast, I told you were going to become this person. You must have been like, what? How? Tell me how? When? There you go. This is part of your growth as a human being when traveling. Another thing, community. As I said to you guys before, I have built kind of like a tribe. Just being selective when you meet people and you think that you can connect with them will make you feel that you are part of something that's bigger than yourself and that you can always reach out to when you feel lonely. Because the good thing is that all of them are going to feel the same way. They will move on. They will carry on with their journey. They will miss you. They will feel lonely as well. And they will want someone to understand how they feel, to validate it. Build your own community. Just reach out to people that you think that might understand what you're going through, or just to listen to you. It's going to make a massive difference. I'm telling you. Fourth thing, hostels organize a lot of events. Attend to those. If you feel lonely one time, if you feel at one point and you feel that you need some connection, you want to talk to someone, use my 5 questions if you want to. Feel free to use that and just show up to one of these events and see who you meet. Probably you'll have like completely different, like a lot of different types of travelers. You have the traveler that is just partying or enjoying the time and then they're going back to their world, back to their home. It's not like their full-time life. So the conversations are going to be different and the support that you can get from them and the understanding are going to be different as well. Then you have the digital nomads that have to balance out their work life with their travel life. So sometimes they might be there for you and other times they just have to work. So they won't be as present as you would. Then you have the solo travelers. Some of them will want to be alone. Most of the time they're like introverted, but they'll talk to you if you talk to them. We all need some sort of connection. We're social animals, so please do reach out to them in a polite way. I would say if you see someone is fully immersed in on their phone watching something, just don't interrupt. It's the same at the gym. Why are you talking to me if I have my earphones on? Why? Seriously. Anyway, whatever. Then you have the activity excited traveler. I actually fit in a few of those categories, but a lot of travelers are just there for like they're adrenaline junkies. So they will be up for anything that you can come up with, whatever like that you think of, they'll say yes, and then you have an amazing time with them. Be it like hiking, walking, running, doing a tour, visiting a new place. I feel like that's about it. Oh, well, yeah, the group. If you meet like a group of people that are traveling, together as a pack, don't expect a lot of support from them. They will display the pack mentality and they will be very annoying and noisy and loud most of the time. Doesn't matter the nationality. I've learned that it's not only the Italians and it's not only the Argentinians and it's definitely not only the English. Everywhere. It doesn't matter. When we are in a group, we lose our shit. We become children. We don't know how to behave. We are overexcited about everything. And we forget that there's a world around us. Probably not the best group of people to connect with if you feel lonely. But just bear them in mind. The 5th thing that you can do if you feel lonely is to reach out people that you left at home, that you feel there's still a connection and they can maybe understand what you're going through. There's a lot of friendships, like my best friend, like we have completely different lives, but we understand and accept that our paths are different, but fundamentally our connection is the same. The way that we interact with each other is the same. What we keep us together goes beyond distance. So I feel that that's an important factor when it comes to choosing who you want to talk to when you feel lonely that is not present with you anymore. And the last thing, and I think you might not like this, but I think it's the wisest thing to do, is to embrace your solitude, to accept it. Once you accept it, it will go away. Emotions are meant to be felt. So if you keep avoiding them with distractions, it won't go away. Just feel your feelings. Feel lonely, talk about it, record an audio, a voice note to yourself, cry, and then you will feel better. I'm telling you, it's a release, and it's a relief for our brain. It's very calming, and there's nothing to be ashamed of anyway. So I would highly recommend to have a good cry. I think that's pretty much everything that I wanted to say. I hope it's not too long, and I hope this has helped you. And in a nutshell, I want to summarize the things that I feel you want to take away from the podcast. The 6 things to do when you feel lonely: to keep a journal, build a community, join communities, talk about it, reach out to people that you left behind, embrace your solitude, and join events, things that are around you. Just join them, see how you feel. And my 5 questions. As a reminder, you can use it as a template to connect with people faster and as intense as if it was your best friend. What is happiness to you? Give me a dream. Give me a fear. What do you want to learn? And what do you want to teach? But just one thing, yeah? Because we only have, 3 days? So, on my next episode, I'm going to talk about relationships and the dating world when you're moving from one place to another, it sucks. And it's as intense as the friendships and situationships that you're going to encounter slash build on your travels. But we'll talk about that next time. In the meantime, if you like this, if it helped you, please share, subscribe to in whatever platform you're listening, whether it's just Apple Podcast or Spotify, and leave a comment with your experience. Tell me what you thought about it, and if you have any feedback, if there's anything in particular that you want to know so that I can answer on the next episode. And yeah, the more that you share this, the more people will know that I exist and the better content that I will be able to provide. If you want to reach out, send me an email, perlameetstheworld@gmail.com, or send me a message on Instagram at perlameetstheworld. Have a good week and just start traveling. What are you doing with your life? Just go.